08.
0 connected to node 564562.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that get together with digital amateur television in the DVB-D format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to a crossband repeater on Cougar Mountain, and it spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll see the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on, a little bit of background on our club, and also a link to YouTube where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we simulcast our audio on our sister station, WW7ATS, with a frequency of 147.08 with a tone of 103.5. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Welcome back. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Checked in by a video link already is Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma. Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles. Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor. Jim, N7QO in Covington. Carlos, 87NP in Clyde Hill, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. If there's anybody else wishing to check in. Hearing none, we'll get the nets rolling with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Well, it looks like I'm going to get a picture in. KD7QKU over here in North Tacoma. Good evening, everybody. We might have a smaller group again tonight. I don't know. Too bad to hear that Richard had some nausea, and James is out. That's not good. So anyway, didn't do much. Showed up at 10 o'clock for our get-together. And then after that, let's see, I uncovered the faucets outside and hooked the hoses up. Hadn't done that yet this year. And then we're having company tomorrow, so I had to clean up the patio a little bit, wipe the chairs off and the table. And then we have a bunch of stacked chairs, plastic chairs, and I usually bring 3 of them in and set them in front of the fireplace. Actually, we have the TV in front of the fireplace on a, I don't know what you call it. Looks kind of like a bookshelf. And I set 3 plastic chairs there. So we're going to have 10 people tomorrow, I think, or maybe 12. I don't know. But anyway, I need to be able to seat about 10 people in the living room. So I always bring in 3 plastic chairs. They're real comfortable. Wipe them off so they're not dusty. And that's about it. I can't think of anything else. Let's see, the Mariners are on. I was watching the Mariners game before the net started. So anyway, it'll be nice to hear what you guys been up to. So back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks with that. Let's go to Port Angeles to Lee, N7KC. What say you, Lee?
um, and all that sort of thing. And then I have to restart. I have to restart the app to get it back. In fact, my pic there I go. Okay, now I am streaming and I can see myself on the phone. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot to add tonight. I'll be in here for a couple of rounds and then it's off to the movies with Paula. So anyway, good to see everybody tonight, and fresh from a meeting this morning. So anyway, Bob, I have to send you an email regarding that. Okay, Dave, thank you for this crack at it, and I'll send it back to you in 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles.
In 7KC, thanks with that. Let's go to Oak Harbor to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, I see my call sign and there was a brief flash of video, so I think you're hearing me now. There we are. There's the video. I'm going to get my headphones off. Well, I'm back on OBS tonight, but I'm I am loving the app. Um, I just felt like doing this tonight instead. It's a bit chilly, and it was light, as it's been for the last couple of weeks. It's light before the net, but it's dark by the time we get fully into the net, by the time it gets to be my turn. So um, I'm just doing this from my normal spot here tonight. Yeah, this morning was to be our annual meeting, and we didn't feel we had enough to really uh, properly have the meeting with elections and everything. So we decided to postpone it a week. That'll be happening a week from today, 10 a.m. Um, Around here, the happenings are that we are getting our roofs replaced. I've been seeing things. One really nice thing with this board, unlike my last board, is they're very communicative. In fact, I have to sort of make sure I keep up on all the emails. They send a lot of emails, which is great. I'd much rather have that than things coming through the U.S. Postal Service. But I need to make sure and keep up on it. And one of the things that has been talked about for a while and is now happening is re-roofing of the units. And because if you may not remember, they're all individual units or all their own little buildings, cottages, um, but they're just all single floor. I think they're all single floor. Maybe a few are two-story, and they're all fairly small. So they are just plowing through this roofing job very, very quickly. There's 37 units, and I think they they're doing it in stages. And the first stage is about 12, and I think it's been just a few days, and I think they're halfway through that first stage already. They're just going gangbusters. So um, it's going to be nice. It'll be noisy for a little while, and I need to try and take a peek in my attic. They are going to open up the roof underlayment. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're going to open that up to expose the attic just to check for any issues that might be there and fix them. But as far as I know, I just had the inspection done. As far as I know, my attic is in fine shape, but I don't know for sure that it's completely empty. That was not part of the inspection, or at least he didn't say that in the inspection report. Um, so yeah, that's going on here. There's more to add, but I'll save that for next time around. This is K9PQ, back to net control.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Ron, sounds like today was a cleanup day more than anything. That's good that you accomplished something anyway. Lee, off to the movies soon. Enjoy that. Good to see you. Bob, yeah, replacing roofs on 37 units. Wow. But at least it'll go quickly. Meeting postponed for a week. Roger that. I don't know. My 2 cents is today's probably the first really nice day of weather we've had this year so far. Personally, I was stuck on a computer pretty much the entire day. I wasn't sure if I'd finish up what I needed to do by now, but I did, fortunately. I couldn't take much more anyway. I have some outside work to do as well, but it looks like the next several days are going to be nice, so I'll be able to play catch up on outside stuff this coming week. Wish I had some other news around here, but I don't. Things are quiet. And back to you, Dave, for now, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. Let's move down to Clyde Hill, Carlos, 87NP.
All right, good evening. 87NP here. Oh, camera is going wide. Oops. Let's see if the camera comes back. Oh, there it is. Good to see everyone. It's good images. I can see good quality, and Lee, great that you're having fun there. I don't remember what is the last version that I published, but it's probably, I don't know, 1.7. I think Bob was on the last one. And I reached the conclusion that now that I have this for Android, I have this for iPhone and Mac, suddenly I think maybe I should have something for a Windows PC. And I know that OBS does a good job, but some additional complexity. And so I've built, let me see if I can show. Oops, that's a different screen, also a good screen. But let me go here on a different screen, I think. Oh yeah, here we are. So I was just building an application also here just to run on Windows that I will put on the Windows Store that basically does the same thing that you have there on the iPad, on the phone. But basically it just shows the camera and you can transmit. I won't do the transmission now, but you can see there that it's receiving the stream on the other side. So that's what, let me see if I get back to my camera. It's too many cameras. Gets confused. Okay, I'm back. So that was my my work for the afternoon to get something also simpler on Windows. Oh, and the carrier dropped, and hopefully it will come back. Yeah, and it's back. So those are the current activities. I'm hoping to put everyone on the air one way or another. And if there's any device that you have, I don't think I'll be able to build software for toasters or micro ovens, but everything else, I think, just let me know which device has a camera and the screen, and I think we'll be able to build something. Sending it back to Dave, net control from 87 NP in Clydesdale.
'87 NP, thanks for that, and getting a little ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net radio machine. Well, for me today, with the beautiful weather out there, I had to go for a little walk in the neighborhood, get a little exercise out of the way, then had some chores to do around the house this afternoon. And so that's about pretty much what I've done today. I noticed that the weather is showing up at 54 degrees here in Lake City and overcast. So outside of that, it's been a pretty quiet afternoon for me, but really appreciated getting out of the house and getting a little fresh air and going for a walk. So that part is in rehab is working very well. So with that, let's move it back up to Ron, KD7 QKU in Tacoma.
It seemed like it came around fast. I just had an email from the Corvette Club, and I was reading it. I'm sorry. Carlos, your audio was really, really low. I had cranked my volume up on the radio a lot to barely hear you. Let's see, not much else going on. I guess I wasn't paying attention. I apologize for that. I heard Jim. He sounded like he had some things to do outside. I have a few things to do outside, but I haven't been doing them. We have trouble with the crows here, of course, and the raccoons, but I guess I've mostly had trouble with the crows. There's a corner of my yard where you come in the yard, walk up the sidewalk to the front door. The crows started tearing that up, and so other than shoot them, it's not a very good place to shoot them. So I went on ChatPat CT or whatever it is and asked them how to get rid of crows. Well, they had a few suggestions. One of them was to take some CDs and hang them on strings so that they reflect in the light to try to scare them away. So I did that. I think it worked a little bit for a while, but now I think they got used to them. So they came back the other day and tore some more grass up in the same spot. They just keep making the spot bigger. But they tear it down to the ground, I guess, and eat the grubs. So then I put up a stick with a red flag on it. So maybe that'll scare them away for a while. See if that does it. So I guess that's about all that's going on over here. So back to Dave. This is KD7 QKU.
KD7 QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Port Angeles to Lee, N7KC.
But it was a little slow getting there last time. Okay, there I see a flicker of some video. Aha, very good. Okay, very good. Well, Jim, Covington Jim, I didn't know that you were there. And good to hear you tonight. All right. Yes, beautiful day here too. Just a beautiful day. We did a little, we had to go over to Walmart. We don't have a Fred Meyer's or anything here in Port Angeles. We do have a Walmart. It's huge. It's a really big one. So, and they have quite a grocery department in it. So, Paula likes to go over there periodically and buy some stock in Walmart. And we filled the car today, and gas over here was 5.25, 5.26, I guess it was a gallon, 5.26. Diesel is just about $7. Anyway, pretty expensive. Carlos, excited to hear about you putting something together there for Windows. That's cool. The app is working pretty well here. What I do notice is if I don't remember to tap my screen periodically, why it in fact then it goes away and I have to restart it to get the video back. And I guess I should look into it if there's something that I can there control. Maybe there is that I can keep the screen on all the time. It might help. The video has frozen, or the stream video has frozen twice, once on Dave and once on Ron, and I had to actually restart it to get it going back. The app seems to be working because I could see my picture on the screen there as I was talking, but I couldn't see. I could see my picture as I moved around, but Ron and Dave are frozen one time each. So I don't know whether you want those periodic reports of what we're observing. Probably helpful, I would imagine. Anyway, with that, yes. You're going to go down in infamy, Carlos. All very clever, and thank you very much for your beautiful work. And with that, Dave, I'll send it back to you. This is Lee in 7KC in Port Angeles.
In 7KC, thanks for that. And get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'll pause momentarily in case anybody wishes to join or check into the net. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. 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 I'll try that again. Reset the transmitter. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor.
Okay, I think I'm there. So Lee, yes, this time I heard all of your transmission. The first time, the first part of it was cut off, but interestingly, apparently only for streaming, because Jim was talking about something you mentioned. I can't remember now that you must have mentioned at the first part of your first transmission, and I did not get it. So it apparently went out over the air. That's interesting to me. Maybe over 2 meters too. Ron, yeah, uncovering the faucet. I noticed we still have covers on ours. That's something the board will take care of. One of the nice things about being in a condo, and I love your idea of a makeshift scarecrow. I'll be interested to see how that turns out if it works. You know, they don't call them scarecrows for nothing, right? So hopefully that keeps them away. Um, Lee, we also have only a Walmart here, no Fred Meyer. We do have Safeway, um, Hagen's, and a place called SARS, Super Saver Foods, which I've noticed might be sort of a coincidence, but I've noticed those SARS grocery stores tend to be near military installations, and they also are known for having lots of um, lots of sort of unusual imported goods. Like I go in there and they have they have one small row of candies that are normal American candies. I think they have two or three rows of candies or sweets or other, snacks from all around the world. It's really interesting. One of these days I'll work up the nerve to buy a few and see and try them. But it's just interesting to see. Jim, sorry to hear you're on the computer all day. Yeah, I've had days like that. I know. And Carlos, yeah, fantastic on the Windows app. Maybe smart refrigerator is next. Maybe that's something, with a screen and a microphone that you could put an app on. But that's pretty awesome about the Windows app. It looks good, and it certainly would be nice. Um, One of the nice things about that app is not having to remember to take off my headset, and having you mute the audio coming back to be my own audio. Oh, I never did transition, by the way, to get my slideshow going. Um, Dave, yeah, doing the outdoor chores. My outdoor chore, and for me, it does become a chore, is I just need to get walking more. I do enjoy walking, but if I'm doing it because I have to, it becomes a chore. Like with a lot of things. Lee, on the timeout issue, I think you're on Android. Android, there's an app called Caffeine, and it keeps your screen on indefinitely until you turn it on. I think you can put it on a timer as well, but I just keep it on until I stop that app, and it won't go to sleep. Um, it can be built into apps. There's no setting to do that in Android just to do it yourself. You can make it very long, but the longest is just a few minutes. So the caffeine app is a good deal, and yeah, that would be a nice thing to have the app do automatically. I hadn't thought of requesting that of Carlos, so here you go. That's my request, Carlos. All right. I think that's all I have for now. Let's see. I thought I had more things for around here, but I can't think of it now. So we'll see if I get another turn. Looks like I probably will. We'll get to it then. All right. Sending it back. This is K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Well, Carlos, yeah, your audio is a little bit low on 2 meters, but I'm hearing you on 2 meters. However, there's no audio from the television repeater from you. I can hear everyone else over the television repeater, but not you. Nothing at all. And let's see, I have received some information from you about the app. I did not yet open it. I've been a little bit occupied the past couple of days, but thank you for that. I will certainly take a look at that in the next few days. Boy, no microwaves or toasters? Well, well, unfortunately, I don't have to worry about cameras in my microwaves or toasters. I still have a microwave that has an analog knob which you turn to select the time, and it makes a ticking sound as it's counting down, and it makes a very loud ding when it gets to 0. cracks my wife up all the time. We don't normally use that. I have it on a cart sitting in the garage, and sometimes I can wheel it around if we need a second microwave or outside or something. Ron, problems with crows. Yeah, I have that same problem here. I don't know what to do about them. My thought would be get a dog or something that hates them, but then that's a problem with which to deal as well. So I don't know. If you have a fenced-in yard, maybe wrangle a coyote and put him in the yard. Maybe that'll keep the crows away. I don't know. I don't have any intelligent ideas there. Yeah, Lee, I heard all of your original transmission. It sounded good. I heard it both on the television repeater and on 2 meters. And it's good to see you. That camera's definitely not as good as the one you usually use, but we can tell it's you. Bob, specialty items in that one store. That made me think, I just saw something on television. If anyone out there is using eye drops, a number of different brands of eye drops has been recalled. It seems to me that it's all sort of off-the-wall brands. I don't know which drugstores may have their own brand, or department stores, grocery stores may have their own brand. So you kind of have to do research. But if you don't use eye drops, then I guess you don't have to worry about it. I just thought I'd throw it out there while I'm thinking of that. And back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. And get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine on Dave KD7ZYM. Let's go to Carlos, 87NP in Clyde Hill.
All right. 87NP, and I'm going to be close to the microphone to make sure that audio is flowing. Oh, and I have the wrong camera. I will get it right at some point. There we go. So that's, oh, Lee's not there. That's a very good point, Bob, that you mentioned also. Yes, all the all the requests are welcome. You know, the other day after the net, Richard sent me a note saying that when he's transmitting and he was using the headphones and the audio would come from the phone, and he sent me a text message about it, and I just copied and pasted, and the AI fixed the problem, I think. At least it said it fixed the problem. So always looking for the reports. I will use the exact words. And I was just trying here on a very old Android phone that I had laying around, and I'm noticing the same, that if you don't keep it active, that screensaver will kick in. So yeah, I will definitely go for it, and we'll take care of that. I'm not exactly clear why the audio is a little lower than what it usually is. I will have to go and look for that. For now, I will just be very close to the microphone to make sure that the audio is getting there. At least from what I can hear on 2 meters, it seems to be okay. Besides this software activities, been quite a busy week. I received some more parts from Germany on my solar cooker project, so hopefully I've now gathered all the parts that I need to assemble the 1.2 gigahertz amplifier, so I'm gonna start making some progress. But in the meantime, I definitely would just want to finish the apps. Oh, and Bob, thank you very much for all those documents. The Apple people are probably still reviewing. I'm sure that since their claim was legal, I'm sure they will be waiting for some lawyer to look at all those emails before they proceed. But I don't know what else they would want at this point. But it's definitely taking longer than just a technical review, and it's understandable. I mean, whenever they have concerns about the legal rights of the content, it's natural that it's taking a little longer. On the Android side, it's a different process. I just need to figure out how to find 12 people, and after we have 12 people using it, I would be able to graduate to the next one. And I don't know exactly what are the rules here on the Windows Store, but I think that's gonna be easier. I know who to call. That's it for now. So back to Dave, Net Control from AD7NP in Clydesdale.
'87 NP, thanks with that. Yeah, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, getting back to Ron, putting up those CD discs to scare the crows away, I think you have to realize crows hate classical music, so you got to have the right CD to play. But outside of that, I have a neighbor that had a problem with crows, and he got out a pellet gun and then got advised by one of the other neighbors that you can't fire a pellet gun in the city. So he ramped up to getting a slingshot and took out a crow with that, with a slingshot, then pinned the crow to a piece of plywood and set it in his driveway, and the other crows came and warned that crow that had passed away, and then they disappeared. So I don't know, many different ways to get rid of crows. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM, so I'm going to send it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Well, thank you guys very much. You gave me a couple good ideas. KD7QKU here. Bob says scarecrow. I never thought about that, but yeah, no. In Eastern Washington, when people had gardens, they put scarecrows out, with clothes on them. I don't know how that would look in my front yard, and I don't own a slingshot, but that's I could definitely get one. I'm a corner lot, so and they're in my front yard, and so my best access to them would be, from the garage. But when I put the garage door up, of course, that scares the crows away. So anyway, but the CDs worked pretty good for a while. And Bob, you were talking about the grocery stores there in Oak Harbor. We stayed in an RV park. It's on the right-hand side of the road as you head up towards Deception Pass. There's a road that turns there. I want to say it goes to Coronado Bay, but that's not quite the right name, I don't think. But anyway, I'm sure we went into those grocery stores, but I don't remember the one you named. I'm thinking we went to either IGA or Safeway or something, so I don't know. When Dave was through transmitting a minute ago, the 2-meter radio went crazy a couple of times back. Made all kind of noise, but now it seems to be working just fine again. Yeah, and Lee's picture was not nearly as good off of his phone as it is off of whatever he uses normally. So that's not so good. Let's see. Microwaves. Jim was talking about microwave. We don't have a built-in microwave here, which was kind of surprising. In Bellevue, we had one that was, over the stove. It was like part of the hood. Worked really good, but here they didn't have that. They had new appliances and everything, and a new range and new hood and everything, but they failed to put in a microwave. So we bought a little portable microwave. We bought it from, I suppose, Amazon. The cheapest one I could buy, and Doug, our brother-in-law, built a cabinet to put it in. At the end of the kitchen counter, there was space, and so before you get to the patio door, so he made a little cabinet, and that little microwave is in the cabinet, and it's worked for well, we've been here 4 years, I guess, and it's still going strong. Joanne uses it a lot, so, and I use it too to warm things up. So yeah, microwaves we use a lot. I bought an air fryer once upon a time. It sits on the counter. Very seldom use it. Once in a great while we use the air fryer, but not very often. And yeah, Carlos, you been doing a good job with all this stuff, and you've been staying busy. I'm anxious to see when you get your dish all put together and get a report back what you're hearing or seeing or whatever. And once upon a time, a guy joined us, and he had that new ICOM radio that transmits ATV, and you guys were maybe going to hook up. I don't know that you ever hooked up with him and got a. You're shaking your head. Yeah, he kind of went away, I think. That's too bad. Okay, that's all I was going to say one more thing. Let me drop it. This on the screen. I don't see it right now. When most of you guys are on, there's a little red dot, and there's a timer. And then when it turns green, I can't hear you, and then in a second it turns red again and gives you, about a minute and a half or something. So I don't see it on myself, but I do see it on some of the other folks. All right, back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Let's move on to Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor.
Well, hasn't gone full screen. But give it time here. There we go. Okay. So let's get back to my Ferry to Bremerton slideshow. That is nice being able to do the slideshow on the app, by the way. I love all the little updates, attention to detail, Carlos. It's very nice to see the app sort of in progress. I always like that. I I like going through the beta test phase and finding out what can be improved and seeing the improvements. Um, so, Lee, I looked up the caffeine app for you. I use it for other things as well. It's just a nice thing to have. Sometimes you just don't want the phone to time out, and so it's general purpose. What it you add the app to your system, and then one when what it does is it puts a button in the I don't know what they call it, the area at the top of the screen where you can do things like, you know, uh, turn your Wi-Fi on and off, Bluetooth on and off. And there's a one for caffeine as well. So I will put a full description of it in our text thread, um, because there might be more than one, and this one is good. Um, as for eye drops, that's very interesting. The When I had my Bell's palsy, there was some concern that my eye would not close. It didn't turn out to be a problem, but I they told me to buy refresh tears, which I did buy, and it's really good. It was very expensive. If I had a regular eye problem, I might be looking for a cheaper alternative. But I still haven't gone through I think I bought a 2-pack, and I haven't gone through the first bottle of the 2-pack yet. It's just every so often, I uh, my eyes feel a bit dried out. They told me that might be a lingering thing from Bell's palsy, and I'm guessing it is because I never needed it, even thought about needing it before that. But every so often, still, I can feel it right now. My right eye is a little dry. Ron, good memory on going up. It's Cornet Bay. You were right. It was not exactly Coronado, but I'm impressed you remembered that much. I'm not so good with remembering details like that. So that's pretty cool. And I know exactly the RV place you're talking about. It's right across from the main part of the state park. But it's across the main highway. It's across Highway 20 from the main state park. But there's a little auxiliary park. I mean, it's part of the state park, but a little extra, a little campground uh, over also on the same side as the RV park, and that's actually where I was staying. I think the first time I stayed there was because that was the only place space was available, and then later on in the season, when I went back there again, it's because they closed down the main state park campground um, after some point in the season, and that's the only one that's left open. So that's where I stayed every time, and so I'm very familiar with that little place. What else do I have? Yeah, the classical CD, good one, good one, Dave. I like that. You gotta look into the details of how you're going to use those CDs to keep the crows away. Um, and yeah, I've mentioned this before, but yeah, as for microwaves, mine is just too small. It's fine for most things, but there are a few things that I want to rotate, and they fill up the whole space. So the rotating turntable doesn't really do anything because they're stuck and won't rotate. So that's on my list. I want to get I want to get a stove hood microwave. I never wanted them in the past because I always had plenty of counter space, and I didn't want to have something that was built in that I'd have to replace, with another built-in device. But for here, it's absolutely going to be a the right thing, and it's on my list. Haven't got to it yet. Um, the ICOM radio I think you're talking about is with video is FM analog video. So it wasn't compatible with our old analog, and it was not compatible directly with our new stuff. And it's an really interesting idea. I'm curious how much it's actually being used by people. Okay, I'll send it on back. This is K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. And get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Carlos, your audio is better on 2 meters, but it is still extremely low on the television repeater. I don't know what to make of that, but that's okay. We can hear you anyway. Bob, yeah, sounds like that caffeine app is relatively useful. I don't remember the circumstances, but every now and then my iPhone tends to go to sleep when I don't want it to. I should investigate, like Lee was saying. I would bet there's some sort of setting where I could make the things stay on for a longer period of time. But I doubt that it has a forever setting. And let's see, FM video on that new radio. I seem to remember it that way as well. And I would guess there's probably not a whole lot of activity. There certainly aren't any repeaters like that, to my knowledge, in this area. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to me that Bert bought one of those radios too, and he was going to see what he could do with it. But we haven't heard from him for quite some time. I hope he's okay out there. Let's see. And thank you for mentioning our other fellows here, Bellevue Jim and Dick. Yeah, well, although Dick, it wouldn't surprise me if he's watching the Mariners game. So that's okay. Hope he's having fun anyway. At least he doesn't have to do dialysis tonight, so that's a good thing. And let's see. Yeah, looking forward for the nice weather this week. No rain. I can finally wash the car and not have to worry about washing it again in a few days. So back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. Let's go to Carlos, 87NP in Clyde Hill.
All right, back on the air, 87NP. So Lee, I'm kind of working on that feature you just asked. Let's see if I can deliver to my customers before the end of the net. It's building right now, so let's see if we can keep the app awake. It seems like it's a simple thing. I think the flag is called very appropriately. Where did I see it? Something like keep the screen on. Oh, exactly. Flag keep screen on. That seems like a good name that tells exactly what it should do. So I'll integrate that into the app. Ron, so the reason that some of us have that time and you don't, in fact, you and Dave don't have that timer, because your audio goes through the 2 meters and I'm not able to control the 2 meter timer. So you'll have to release the PTT in your case because of the timeout of the repeater. For people coming through the internet or coming through the TV repeater, like my case with audio, then there's that timeout. So you're correct. There's a kind of a 3-second break. So right now, if you look there, when it gets to 0, it will break the audio on the repeater, not on the TV. And so that's how it works. And it is a little bit confusing because depending on, it's almost like a different case for different people. So if you're coming from the internet, you have that. If you are transmitting to the TV repeater with RF and you're using audio, you will have that. But if you're doing audio on 2 meters, you won't have that because you have to control the releasing. And so that's what happened right there. What was the other note? So on the audio on the TV, Jim, I think I raised the audio now on the TV. So it should be a little higher if I've changed the right knob. Yeah, I see it go all the way to red, so probably it's a little higher now receiving from the TV. Mostly on the left channel and not on the right channel. I don't know why. And I think it's probably the last transmission. And I think I will be, Lee and Bob, I'll be publishing the 1.8 version that hopefully your apps will just update and then you won't have that problem again, hopefully. And I had not seen the iPhone app having the same problem, so I think it's probably just an Android issue. So I'll take care of that. All right, sending it back to Dave, and I think Lee's next. And yeah, Lee, I noticed you were showing the phone, so maybe you already have installed the app that Bob mentioned. And Bob and Ron, yes, I'll send pictures. I'm expecting to to have some contacts through the moon. I don't want to interfere with people traveling to the moon. I think they are having enough problems. Everyone on the internet was making fun that the first thing that broke was the toilet. That's definitely not something pleasant to happen on traveling to the moon. Very good, Dave. Back to you from 87 NV in Clyde Hill.
'87 NP, thanks with that. And let's pick up Lee N7KC for a final.
Well, I don't see my video yet on the stream, but okay, there I've got my call sign, so I think there we go. Okay, very good. Well, Carlos, what I know, I did not implement Bob's suggestion yet. I went off and I noticed that my screen was set at 2 minutes. And so what I did was I bumped it up to the maximum here, which is 10 minutes. And that seems to be a lot better. But if you have a clever fix, that'll be fun to see too. I seem to understand that the app will let all of my phone apps seem to update all by themselves. And so I guess this one will probably do the same. I haven't nosed around to find out where I can find out what version is running, but maybe there's an about thing someplace on there. Listen, I was down, actually, I've been on the net the whole time. I was roaming and I was downstairs and I had the lights on. I was going to show you our big Ridgeway clock and whatnot, but Dave thought I was gone. so I couldn't get in. But we're meshed up here. We've got four nodes on a cognitive mesh here in the house. And so I have very, very good Wi-Fi no matter where I go. Now, I don't know how, and the phone, of course, is on using the internet now. But I'm not sure with 300 megabits down is what it measures. I don't know how the phone measures up, to be honest. But periodically, it just quits, and then I can't restart it unless I basically kill the app, and then I have to restart the app, and then everything's fine. Now it's been better just in the last 15, 20 minutes. It hasn't been doing that, so I don't know what it is. I thought it might be me roaming around, you know. The mesh isn't perfect, let's face it, so there's going to be places where it doesn't go down, but my Wi-Fi signal strength indicator on the phone is maxed out and always seems to be in the house now since I added those. I added those because of the weather station and the remote camera that I have out on the roof. Couldn't get enough Wi-Fi out there to work properly, so basically, I had a Linksys originally just with the one node, and then I added a second, and that pepped things up. So I ended up having them the length of the house, and so we've got what appears to be pretty good Wi-Fi service here in the house. Anyway, with that, thanks everybody. It's good to see you. And Dave, I was very clever about the classical music on CDs. I love it. And Ron, I tell you what, we have a lot of cats over here. We have an indoor cat only, but I think every house here has got a cat that's outside. They're a big problem because they poop every place around soft dirt here. And so you can hardly go walking without, you have to be really careful. Well, so Paula is hollering at them. And so finally we thought, well, what can we do? And I found online, Amazon actually, a battery powered, it's got a lithium ion battery in it. It is a squirt gun, and that thing must squirt 50 feet, It goes bang, 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 and every time it does that, the pump shoots out this great big long stream. And so beware any cat that comes around here. And it's completely harmless, but they do not like it. So with that, Dave, thank you very much. Good to see everybody. And this is N7KC in Port Angeles saying good evening.
N7KC, thanks for that. We've run out of time a little bit, but I'll open it up as anybody for anything want to come to the net. Hearing none, we'll close up the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM, terminating the net at 9:03. Good evening all.